5 minutes.
Ready.
Okay. Hopefully I'll be going down in this order. I'll be looking at the Topekawa contention 1, their case, and then contention 1 and 2 are going to kind of be at the same time. Okay. Right. Okay. Everyone ready? Alright. Politicians are the same everywhere. They promise to build bridges where there are no rivers. Nikita Khrushchev, something like that. Well, this pretty much sums up what the opposition stance is. The government is we're all playing the part of politicians, and the government has proposed to build a bridge where there is no river. And I'm going to be looking at what has been brought up in today's parliamentary debate and showing you, the judge, why the opposition deserves your ballot at the end of today's debate round. First thing I'm going to be looking at is the Topekawa arguments. Pretty much the Topekawa argument that has completely carried through up to this point is the second stem of the Topekawa argument, talking about the real political unrest. The resolution asks us to, it states it's about time for real political unrest. The government so far has upheld the political unrest part. They have quote-unquote ignored the word real within the resolution, as was analyzed by the opposition as meaning it's necessary for real political unrest to have violence. So since the government is not within the bounds of the resolution, we've kind of hinted towards this throughout the debate, but the impacts to this is it harms the opposition, it kills our prep time, it makes it so that we have to prepare for these smaller minutia arguments, whereas we don't have the ability to prepare for those arguments because we only have 20 minutes and we don't know what the government is going to be bringing up, so we prepare for the bigger arguments. And then also within this, because the government has acted within a smaller definition, that of political unrest, as in the, I guess you could, peaceful political unrest, the not real political unrest, as within the resolution. They are outside of the opposition's analysis of the resolution, which pretty much has been accepted by the government. They stated that they were arguing overall and that they, but we have to look at the specifics in order to get the gist, the understanding of the overall. Now let's look at the contentions. The first contention was pretty much that violence is necessary. A violent political unrest is bad. Violent political unrest is bad. And we had several things underneath of this, and the government addressed point B underneath of this, talking about how the results of a violent political unrest tends to be an oppressive leader. The example of Honduras was an example of non-violent political unrest and how it actually brought in a quote-unquote good leader. But then the example of Hitler, he may have come in peacefully, but by his leadership, we had an oppressive leader, a violent political unrest as a result of this real unrest. Now let's take a moment and look at the second contention. That was talking about how it's not the time is not now, the time must be later. And my partner brought up a disadvantage, stating that we need to look at the long term. This ties quite nicely with the second contention, not now, later, because we must look at the long-term repercussions of our actions. My partner brought up the permanency. We must have a permanent positive effect by the end of today's debate. We have actually not seen, up until this point, a plan or anything by the government as to how they are going to bring about this real political change, which, as the government opposition, let's get these names right, as the opposition has defined real political unrest as being a violent unrest. So now if we look back at the flow and see what we have in today's debate, we have the opposition standing that real political unrest must be a violent political unrest. It must be it must have violence within it in order to be classified as a quote-unquote real political unrest. And the government is not bringing up a real political unrest. They're upholding just political unrest. That includes the peacefulness. And if we look at the contentions and the affirmative government's team's case, we can see that they are not presenting a way to solve this. They are just showing you how political unrest is, I guess you could say, good.